I love the thought of a car drifting apparently endlessly through space and perhaps being discovered by an alien race millions of years in the future. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. To make an embarrassing admission, I like video games. That's what got me into software engineering when I was a kid. I wanted to make money so I could buy a better computer to play better video games. Nothing like saving the world. There are some important differences between me and Tony Stark, like I have 5 kids, so I spend more time going to Disneyland than parties. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. In all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, it's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. Every 5,000th buyer of our boringly boring hat will get a free hat signed by the delivery guy. I'm nauseatingly pro-American. I would have come here from any country. The US is where great things are possible. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with a horse?" That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. I've always wanted to be part of something that would radically change the world. People forget the power of inspiration. All of humanity went to the moon with the Apollo missions. The issue was cost. There was no chance to build a base and create frequent flights. That's the problem I would like to solve. I'm personally a moderate and a registered independent, so I'm not strongly Democratic or strongly Republican. We have a strict no a-hole policy at SpaceX. And we fire people that are. I mean, we give them a little bit of warning. But if they continue to be an a-hole, then they're fired. Entrepreneurship is like eating glass and walking on hot coals at the same time. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. And we need things in life that are exciting and inspiring. It can't just be about solving some awful problem. There have to be reasons to get up in the morning. Ancient Greece had it all and then committed suicide. Nobody digs your grave better than yourself. To our knowledge, life exists on only one planet, Earth. If something bad happens, it's gone. I think we should establish life on another planet, Mars in particular. But we're not making very good progress. SpaceX is intended to make that happen. I'm actually making history tonight as the first person with Asperger's to host SNL. Or at least the first to admit it. So I won't make a lot of eye contact with the cast tonight. But don't worry, I'm pretty good at running human and emulation mode. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is a disaster. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things, I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. Ultimately, the downfall of the Freemasons was giving away their stone-cutting services for nothing. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. I'd like to dial it back 5% or 10% and try to have a vacation that's not just email with a view. I would only call someone an idiot if people were mistakenly under the impression that the person was smart. I just want to retire before I go senile, because if I don't retire before I go senile, then I'll do more damage than good at that point. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. Engineering is the closest thing to magic that exists in the world. An asteroid or a supervolcano could certainly destroy us, but we also face risks the dinosaurs never saw: an engineered virus, nuclear war, inadvertent creation of a micro black hole, or some as yet unknown technology could spell the end of us. I would like to die on Mars. Just not on impact. For my part, I will never give up, and I mean never. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. If something's important enough, you should try. Even if the probable outcome is failure. People work better when they know what the goal is, and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. I usually describe myself as an engineer. That's basically what I've been doing since I was a kid. Tesla is here to stay and keep fighting for the electric car revolution. Starting a business is not for everyone. Starting a business, I'd say, number one is to have a high pain threshold. There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? If the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that incredibly depressing. We can't have, like, willy-nilly proliferation of fake news. That's crazy. You can't have more types of fake news than real news. That's allowing public deception to go unchecked. That's crazy. We're already cyborgs. Your phone and your computer are extensions of you, but the interface is through finger movements or speech, which are very slow. If you don't have sustainable energy, you have unsustainable energy. The fundamental value of a company like Tesla is the degree to which it accelerates the advent of sustainable energy faster than it would otherwise occur. In order to have your voice be heard in Washington, you have to make some little contribution. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. Mars is the only place in the solar system where it's possible for life to become multiplanetarian. I think we are at the dawn of a new era in commercial space exploration. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. The problem with car dealerships is you've already decided what you want to buy before you even go there, and you're really just going there to talk through some annoying negotiation. Life is too short for long-term grudges. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. I really do encourage other manufacturers to bring electric cars to market. It's a good thing, and they need to bring it to market and keep iterating and improving and make better and better electric cars, and that's what's going to result in humanity achieving a sustainable transport future. I wish it was growing faster than it is. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, your job is going to be quite miserable. A company is a group organized to create a product or service, and it is only as good as its people and how excited they are about creating. I do want to recognize a ton of super talented people. I just happen to be the face of the companies. I will never be happy without having someone. Going to sleep alone kills me. The key to making things affordable is design and technology improvements, as well as scale. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. The problem is that at a lot of big companies, the process becomes a substitute for thinking. You're encouraged to behave like a little gear in a complex machine. Frankly, it allows you to keep people who aren't that smart, who aren't that creative. The future of humanity is going to bifurcate in two directions. Either it's going to become multiplanetary, or it's going to remain confined to one planet, and eventually there's going to be an extinction event. We are the first species capable of self-annihilation. There's a silly notion that failure's not an option at NASA. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. I've actually not read any books on time management. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future, and wondrous, new technology where you see it, and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? Man has the power to act as his own destroyer, and that is the way he has acted through most of his history. The goal of Tesla is to accelerate sustainable energy, so we're going to take a step back and think about what's most likely to achieve that goal. The United States is definitely ahead in culture of innovation. If someone wants to accomplish great things, there is no better place than the US. The space shuttle was often used as an example of why you shouldn't even attempt to make something reusable. But one failed experiment does not invalidate the greater goal. If that was the case, we'd never have had the light bulb. I've actually made a prediction that within 30 years a majority of new cars made in the United States will be electric. And I don't mean hybrid, I mean fully electric. If we're going to have any chance of sending stuff to other star systems, we need to be laser focused on becoming a multi-planet civilization. I would like to fly in space. Absolutely. That would be cool. I used to just do personally risky things, but now I've got kids and responsibilities, so I can't be my own test pilot. That wouldn't be a good idea. But I definitely want to fly as soon as it's a sensible thing to do. The revolutionary breakthrough will come with rockets that are fully and rapidly reusable. We will never conquer Mars unless we do that. It'll be too expensive. The American colonies would never have been pioneered if the ships that crossed the ocean hadn't been reusable. If you're entering anything where there's an existing marketplace, against large, entrenched competitors, then your product or service needs to be much better than theirs. It can't be a little bit better, because then you put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. You're always going to buy the trusted brand unless there's a big difference. Particularly Instagram people look like they have a much better life than they really do. People basically seem like they are way better looking than they really are, and they are way happier seeming than they really are. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. America is the spirit of human exploration distilled. I do love email. Wherever possible I try to communicate asynchronously. I'm really good at email. I wouldn't say I have a lack of fear. In fact, I'd like my fear emotion to be less because it's very distracting and fries my nervous system. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things, I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. If you're on Twitter, you're in the arena. And so, essentially, if you attack me, it is therefore okay for me to attack back. Here in the West, people often don't like listening to their leaders, even if they are right. My vision is for a fully reusable rocket transport system between Earth and Mars that is able to refuel on Mars. This is very important, so you don't have to carry the return fuel when you go there. I tend to approach things from a physics framework. And physics teaches you to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. You need to be in the position where it is the cost of the fuel that actually matters and not the cost of building the rocket in the first place. When I was a child, there's one thing I said: I never want to be alone. That's what I would say. I don't want to be alone. We polled Tesla owners, do you want autopilot disabled or not? Not one person wanted it disabled. That's pretty telling. Trying to read our DNA is like trying to understand software code. With only 90% of the code riddled with errors. It's very difficult in that case to understand and predict what that software code is going to do. I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company, it was crazy. If anyone thinks they'd rather be in a different part of history, they're probably not a very good student of history. Life sucked in the old days. People knew very little, and you were likely to die at a young age of some horrible disease. You'd probably have no teeth by now. It would be particularly awful if you were a woman. It's important that we attempt to extend life beyond Earth now. It is the first time in the 4 billion year history of Earth that it's been possible, and that window could be open for a long time. Hopefully, it is. Or it could be open for a short time. We should err on the side of caution and do something now. What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in space flight, and help make space flight accessible to almost anyone. We could definitely make a flying car. But that's not the hard part. The hard part is, how do you make a flying car that's super safe and quiet? Because if it's a howler, you're going to make people very unhappy. The lessons of history would suggest that civilizations move in cycles. You can track that back quite far. The Babylonians, the Sumerians, followed by the Egyptians, the Romans, and China. We're obviously in a very upward cycle right now, and hopefully, that remains the case. But it may not. You need to live in a dome initially, but over time you could terraform Mars to look like Earth and eventually walk around outside without anything on. So it's a fixer-upper of a planet. I was born in Africa. I came to California because it's really where new technologies can be brought to fruition, and I don't see a viable competitor. I do think there should be some regulations on AI. I think whenever there's something that affects the public good, then there does need to be some form of public oversight. It is theoretically possible to warp space-time itself, so you're not actually moving faster than the speed of light, but it's actually space that's moving. There's nothing. I've bought everything I want. I don't like yachts or anything, you know, I'm not a yacht person, and I've got pretty much the nicest plane I'd want to have. If you want to grow a giant redwood, you need to make sure the seeds are okay, nurture the sapling, and work out what might potentially stop it from growing all the way along. Anything that breaks it at any point stops that growth. I have made the mistaken assumption, and I will attempt to be better at this, of thinking that because somebody is on Twitter and is attacking me that it is open season. And that is my mistake.